Hi everybody, my name is Miles Wallace and I am with Peak Performers. We're a nonprofit staffing and recruiting agency that helps professionals with disabilities find jobs and advance their careers. We also help employers find great talent too. I'm here with Maribeth. Maribeth, could you introduce yourself?
Hi Miles, I'm Maribeth Spate and I'm the Benefits Administrator for Peak Performers.
I brought you in today to talk about you personally and your family. So could you tell me about your son, Maribeth?
Yes, Miles, we have an adult son. His name is Austin. He's 22 years old and he is now working independently. He has a disability, he has autism, and we couldn't be more excited to see him in the workplace.
And what is it that he does?
He is a custodian for the company that our school district contracts with.
And my understanding too is that he has a passion for this kind of thing. People with disabilities have passions and they have expertise and they have things that they do really, really well, just like any person without a disability as well. Could you tell me about what his passion is?
And you know what's funny? His passion is cleaning.
Yeah.
And so when the pandemic first hit, we knew we needed to keep that structure, and cleaning was it. We also made sure during high school he was volunteering, and he was volunteering in the cafeteria, and I said, let's turn this into a job. And that's what we worked to get to, and that's where we are now.
I wanted to talk with you a little bit more because sometimes when you are a parent with somebody with a disability, it's very difficult to know exactly where the balance is as far as, hey, let them have independence versus, hey, let me make sure that everything goes smoothly for them, right?
That's exactly right. Sometimes it can be very difficult, but we do want to make sure our number one goal is for them to be successful. To be successful, we want them to be as independent and self-sufficient as they possibly can be. But it doesn't just happen overnight. So we do have to work through that process, whether it's with job coaching, whatever it might be, to get there. Even though he's independent now, it definitely was a process to get there.
I think that's so important too, because sometimes with some people that I meet that have a disability, sometimes it's the disability that's holding them back, and sometimes it's self-sufficiency on other people within their lives too, unfortunately, that might be holding them back. It's usually some kind of combination of the two of it, but that's really hard, right? That's really hard to strike that balance.
It is. It's very hard to strike that balance, and we have to make sure that as a parent that we're advocating for them, but at the same time we're working with that employer for that employer to step in and to help that associate young adult be successful.
For a lot of the people working for Peak Performers, they are going to be fully independent and they're going to be working completely on their own, but we have had circumstances too where we do have people where the parents or a guardian or some other person that's invested in their life does work with Peak Performers to kind of ensure their success within the organization. I understand that you had a circumstance that came up fairly recently in the workplace that it took everything in you not to have your mama bear come charging out, right?
And that's exactly right. A perfect example of where we need to let the employer do their job. And in Austin's case, when someone else was bullying him, it was brought to my attention by a coworker, and that coworker actually reported it to the employer. Would have loved to have stepped in and told him what I thought, but that's not my place. It was brought up to the employer reached out to us, and the employer also took care of the situation. So that's where we do have to rely on the employer and coworkers to help navigate that process.
What I really love about that is that anybody can be an advocate, and that's for people with disabilities or without disabilities too. If you see something that's going on in the workplace, you have the power to make it a better workplace, to make it more comfortable for all, and make sure that everybody is going to be happy and effective in their work too.
We can all make that change, and making that change to make sure the setting is appropriate for everyone and that everyone is treated fairly is very, very important.
Well, thank you very much, Maribeth. I appreciate you coming on today and having a conversation with me. Again, this has been Miles from Peak Performers. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye-bye.